Now, a couple of months ago, we tried comparing these two vehicles right here. The Honda CR-V gasoline variant, the 2.0S, and the 1.6 diesel SX. But 3 months ago seemed like a long time ago. Don't you wish fuel prices were as low as they were back then? But now we do have these two vehicles right here. We're going to compare them again to make sure you get an informed decision which one you would prefer best. The Honda CR-V 2.0S, which has a gasoline engine, or the Honda CR-V 1.6 diesel SX that has the top-of-the-line diesel one. We're going to do this comparison right now. What is going on, guys? Roy Robles here from zigwheels.ph, and yes, we're going to find out which is better for you, the diesel or the gasoline. Here's the Honda CR-V. Now, before we talk about the CR-V's looks on the outside, I just want to talk about a couple of the differences that the CR-V diesel and the CR-V gasoline variant has over each other. First of all, the Honda CR-V diesel has Honda sensing. You can obviously see that large sensor underneath the H badge on the Honda CR-V diesel. So both of these CR-Vs actually implement full LED. But on the Honda CR-V diesel, it has this horizontal looking LED fog lamps, while on the gasoline variant, it has your traditional circular bulb right there on the bottom. Also, the CR-V diesel variant has those fancy sequential turn signals on it. Now, the Honda CR-V diesel variant has those 18-inch machine two-toned alloy wheels, which has the same one on the gasoline variant right there. You got your usual crossover elements here, especially your black plastic cladding. But on the Honda CR-V, both of these variants have this camera by the rear side mirrors, which gives you a blind spot monitoring whenever you activate your turn signals on the right. Overall, the side profile of the Honda CR-V is very functional. It also gives you that macho look that most crossover buyers are looking for. Now, heading over to the rear of the Honda CR-V, this is the part where you will find out, or the only details that you'd know the difference between the gas and the diesel variant. First of all, you'd see that badge right there. It says ID Tech instead of VTEC, so you'll definitely know it's a diesel right there. Also, the top-of-the-line diesel variant, the SX variant, has all-wheel drive, so it has the all-wheel drive badge, of course. But overall, the rear is definitely a more muscular CR-V than it was before. You've got your integrated spoiler up top, your shark's fin antenna, and only on the top-of-the-line CR-V would you find this panoramic sunroof up top. My favorite part about the Honda CR-V diesel, though, is this. It's the power tailgate. Now, the power tailgate is only available for diesel variants, including the mid-grade S variant of the diesel version. So it's kind of a bummer if you're picking the gasoline variant. Now, the Honda CR-V is definitely a looker, although it's been going on for quite some time now. With a quick refresh the past couple of years, it's still a good-looking crossover SUV. And that's what CR-V stands for in the first place. It's a comfortable runabout vehicle. How comfortable is it? Let's check out the inside to find out. So we're inside the gasoline variant CR-V, and right away you'd find out a few differences between the CR-V gas and diesel variants, but not that much. First of all, you've got a black theme inside, none of that horrible fake wood trim, which I really don't like. Of course, a couple of the similarities between the gas and the diesel variants: you have your electronic parking brake, your electronic brake hold, your econ button on the right side of the shifter, and yes, this one has an actual shifter right here. So you've got your digital display in front of the driver right here, your leather wrapped steering wheel, you got your 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that powers 4 speakers. That's right, on the gas variant it only has 4 speakers instead of 8. That's right, 8 speakers on the diesel variant. Now, you also have 2 USB ports right here and 2 USB ports that actually charges kind of faster on the rear. All right, so those are all the similarities that you'll be getting between these two variants. Now let's hop on the diesel one and see what this thing is actually missing. All right, so we're inside the Honda CR-V diesel variant. This is the top of the line variant, and yes, it's got power seats, not just for the driver, but for the front passenger as well, which makes adjusting your seating position, although a bit slower, easier. For more comfort, of course. It's got the same steering wheel, the same controls, but it's got more buttons on the left side here to power your power tailgate. And of course, activate your Honda sensing features. It's got the same 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system, but right below it, you notice the lack of a gear lever. You only have these buttons right here, P, R, and D, and of course S for sport mode. At first, this took some getting used to, but eventually it became second nature to me, and going back to a regular shifter, whether manual or automatic, took some getting used to as well. Now, like I said, it also has paddle shifters right here on the back of the steering wheel, which makes it easier for you to drive. More on that later. So you also have a couple of other things here, but what I really don't like probably is this. Definitely not my cup of tea when it comes to interior features, but I guess since this is the top of the line CR-V, you get your wood trim. You also have a power panoramic sunroof, of course for more lighting inside, of course fancier. The difference between the diesel and gasoline variants is it's got third row seats. Also, that means that the second row is a little bit different, but it has the same space anyway. So let's go ahead and check that out. All right, so we are in the second row seats of the Honda diesel variant. Now, right away, you definitely see a lot of differences between this and the gasoline variant. First of all, you don't just have the second row AC vents right below your knees, but since you have a third row seating right there, you have this huge AC panel here to control not just the air of the second row, but for the third row as well. Here's the thing about the CR-V diesel. If you want to purchase a diesel CR-V and you're thinking you could bring a lot of people with you and you're a tall family like us, you're gonna have to sacrifice a few things. Headroom, for example. Although the CR-V has great legroom and of course for you to wiggle around, headroom is definitely compromised because of the panoramic sunroof. Although you get a great view of the sky, especially in this nice cloudy day, you definitely have to sacrifice here in the headroom department, which is a big no-no for me. That's a big complaint for me, especially when you're on these long trips. You can, of course, lounge like this and just relax, enjoy the scenery, but what about your third row passengers? They're gonna have to sacrifice their leg room because of your comfort. So this compromise is definitely a no-go for me, and you won't have that compromise on the gasoline variant. So that's something to think about when you purchase these things. Now, before we take this for a drive, if you're not feeling like torturing someone, you can actually fold the rear seats down, and you have this almost flat floor with a quick ridge right there. You can actually use the shelf, make it a lot flatter. All right, so now this is the CR-V I know and love. We are in the gasoline variant, and I swear that there's actually more legroom right here, probably because of the seating configuration. They were able to extend the seats way backwards, but what I can't deny is all that headroom. Even if I stand straight and upright, my head doesn't hit the ceiling or the headliner at all. This is definitely a more comfortable ride, and I don't have to torture myself with the rear seating because there are no rear seats there. But what that means is that there's more room for luggage. So if you're on out-of-town trips, this is a perfect vehicle for you to bring. It's time for my public service part. I'm gonna try to fit my big ass at the back of the CR-V since it has a third row. Let's do this. It's fit check time. Gotta fold that down, fold that forward. Hey, that's not bad. But here's the real test. It's not looking well. Lift that up. All right, probably a person who has a smaller frame than I have will fit great here. Kids probably, but this is definitely not for me. So enough of this torture. Let's take these two babies for a drive, please. All right, so we're behind the wheel of the Honda CR-V, the diesel variant. So before we start, let's get some numbers out of the way. Under the hood, you've got a 1.6 liter turbocharged diesel engine, makes around 118 horsepower and 300 Newton meters of torque. Compared it to most mid-sized SUVs with turbo diesels, those power figures are quite paltry, but yeah, it's gonna get you off the line. They figure that our market doesn't need all that power anyway. But once you start driving behind the wheel on this one, you'd find that, yeah, they might be onto something. Yep, power is all right. off-the-line acceleration is just okay. That's the whole deal about this. But what is a great thing about that 1.6 diesel engine is that fuel economy. Usually I wait for a little bit later during the drive to talk about fuel economy, but that's primarily the selling point of this CR-V. In the city, I got 12 kilometers per liters right here, and that's with all the traffic that's been going on. And on the highway, that's when it really starts to shine. 20 kilometers per liters on the highway. So NVH levels, yeah, you can definitely hear that diesel engine noise creeping in. Not very CR-V like, if you ask me. And it's also an all-wheel drive. Well, all-wheel drive is definitely helpful if you're heading out of town during slippery roads. But what that does is that it only adds more weight, more roughness to the drive, which this thing definitely has. Plus, you got this 9-speed automatic transmission. I gotta say, the way that it's mapped out, the way that it's programmed, it finds itself hunting for gears for some reason. It makes me kind of miss CVTs. Speaking of CVTs, now that we got a taste of the diesel variant of the CR-V, let's head on over to the gas variant. All right, so we're behind the wheel of the gasoline variant, the Honda CR-V 2.0S. And right off the bat, you instantly feel the difference between the two variants. Honda really knows its gasoline engines. It's just perfect. It's a great fit for the Honda CR-V. So the power that it makes is around 154 horsepower and 189 Newton meters of torque. They run in the same suspension. It runs in McPherson struts up front and a multi-link independent suspension in the back. So unlike your typical subcompact SUV that might be more affordable than this one, this really takes on road imperfections like a champ. All right, so for safety features, you get your standard dual front airbags, side curtain airbags. But the thing with the gas variant is that it does not have Honda sensing. But what you get is still a pretty safe vehicle anyway. What better active safety features can you ever have than knowledge of the road, knowledge of traffic rules and regulations? That's all the safety that I'd ever need. One major difference that this has over the diesel variant is, of course, the transmission. While the diesel variant runs on a traditional 9-speed slush box or automatic transmission, you've got Honda's tried and tested CVT. Despite many people's contentions about CVT, I actually like this one over the automatic transmission of the diesel. All right, so let's get down to brass tacks. The reason people want the CR-V to have a diesel engine is because of potential fuel efficiency. And we were able to test that out and prove that yes, driving a CR-V diesel gives you great fuel economy. But the thing is, the Honda CR-V gasoline variant also does great fuel economy. Great for its size, great for its segment. It does 7 to 8 kilometers per liter in the city, and once you get it out on the highway, you got around 13, 14 kilometers per liter. And that's really not bad. Well, a few months ago, you'd probably be thinking about the price savings that you'll be getting in the pump. But these days, with diesel and gas being at almost the same level, sometimes in some gas stations, diesel is actually more expensive than gas. Plus the pricing. This one right here, the Honda CR-V 2.0S, starts at 1,678,000 pesos. And the diesel, the top of the line diesel, mind you, the all-wheel drive one, that starts at 2,158,000. And that's quite a gulf to cover. I gotta say, the gasoline variant definitely gives me more compelling reasons to buy it because of the savings that I get from the showroom. Maybe down the line you can recuperate your losses and think that you definitely get your investment back for buying a diesel variant. But you also have to consider preventive maintenance, which is about 30% more expensive. So at the end of the day, apart from the regular diesel versus gas conversation, you also have to remember not everything is as what it seems at first, right? So even if you think that, yeah, diesel is king, sometimes you gotta do the math, which I didn't. So there you have it, folks. The Honda CR-V is one of a few models left in the country or in the market where you actually have the choice between a diesel and gasoline variant. So for years, we've been asking and clamoring Honda to release a diesel version of the Honda CR-V, and now we have it. It's proven to be quite a bestseller for the brand. But personally speaking, I think diesel's not all that cracked up to be, and I'd probably pick a Honda gasoline version, maybe because I'm a purist that way. But what do you think? Leave us a comment in the comment section down below, and would you pick the gasoline over the diesel variant or the other way around? So before you let the flame wars begin and telling me that I'm wrong with choosing the gasoline variant, why not subscribe to our channel and hit that notification button so you're alerted whenever we upload a new video. Once again, this is Roy Robles at zigwheels.ph. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.